All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Misfit Corner Comics. Forgot where I was streaming. Let me check and make sure we're coming through okay. Let's see. Let me just refresh. And there we are. And let me go to the page, and we're up and good. All right, and we're good. Can you hear me? One second. There we go. Make sure that's good. Oh, it's coming in very low. Oh, okay. I realize why I never switched over. Okay, my output needs to be put to the USB device. My input needs to be put to the USB device. And we're back to where we should be. Okay, now I think we're okay. Hey, Manuel, how's it going? It says, good evening, my friend Drew. Happy Wednesday evening. Absolutely, my friend. All right. Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. There we go. All right. Cool beans. All right. Manuel says, I hear you good. Okay, excellent. All right, we got a couple of things to do tonight. Let me switch over to my camera view. Very good. I bought a couple of new nibs for these are nibs for my pen, but they're not the ones I wanted. They're the ones that they had available at the time. They're calligraphy pens, calligraphy nibs, which is not exactly what I wanted, so I need to practice and play with them a little bit before I start using them. So let me see if I can find, okay. So this was the type of nib that I was looking for, where it's just your standard quill pen nib. The only one that they had, you had to buy it in a pack that included a brand new pen and ink, which I already had both of. And they wanted $15. I wasn't going to pay $15 just for one single nib. So the only ones that they had were these, and once again, they're calligraphy nibs. So, let's see which one's the smaller of the two. This one's the smaller of the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip this in ink, and we're going to play with it a little bit and test it a little bit and just see how it comes out. Let's see, we're just going to get some regular old ink. Dip the pen in the ink. And just see, that's a really thick line. When you first put it down, it's a really thick line. But it actually, see, this might be too thick. Yeah. Trying to see how, yeah, see, it can vary depending on how you hold the pen. If you do the pen sideways like this, you can get a pretty thin line, but then as you move it, it gets a thick line, thin line. This is a really good pen for drawing, doing calligraphy with, but for the purpose of drawing lines, I don't know if this is going to work for what I want to do. And it beads up a lot, so I can hold the pen differently. So if I wanted to, like for the purpose of filling in backgrounds, let me just see what this would look like. Because I'm mostly going to use it for filling in the backgrounds. Well, it might be doable. I just have to remember to turn the pen sideways when I'm trying to get a certain effect. All right. So what's going to end up happening here is it looks like I need to play with it a little bit more, get more control over it, because I like how it goes from thick to thin, but if you're holding the pen wrong, you could really screw it up. But it might actually work for what I'm planning on. Now see, because what I'm planning on doing with this is do the backgrounds, and the backgrounds don't have to be neat, because like on page one, I'll show you guys page one real quick. On page one, I've already drawn in. I'll switch cameras. I've already drawn in the characters, so all I'm going to do is fill in the backgrounds. So I can go a little looser and a little freer with the backgrounds because the tight characters are already drawn. Um, I don't know if I want to experiment really quick with this, but I think what I'm going to do tonight is I'm just going to move on to this. This might work for me, but I need to practice with it a little bit more, get a little bit better control over the pen before I start doing what I'm going to do there. But in the meantime, I can work on the characters on page 2. This is what we did last week. We worked on the first panel, which included Hawkeye and the wolf right here, and then the second panel, which is a large splash panel, I worked on the wolf. So now I can work on Hawkeye. He's jumping out in the middle here, so that I might be able to do. And I'm going to use just a standard art pen for this. This is the 0.5 precision pen, so I can get some detail in everything. Let's see who else is here. Sorry. Richard's here. Hey, Richard, how's it going? He says, good evening, old friend. I pray all is well. Absolutely, doing good. It says, spring is in the air, and my weeds are loving it. Are you getting a lot of rain? Because we haven't gotten a lot of rain yet. Richard says, good evening, Manuel. I trust you are good. Manuel says, hey, Richard, good evening, and thank you, sir, and you are very welcome. Excellent. Okay. All right, let me take some water real quick. Sorry. All right. And I need to make sure I'm caught up on the channel, and I'm where I need to be there. I'm good there. All right, that's refreshing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get to work on the character. I'm going to work on just the detail of the character. Actually, I hate to say it. I need to take these glasses off, and I can see better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in some of the more detailed parts of this image. He's jumping, and he's smiling, and he's like, oh no, ha, you got me. I'm actually getting a scam call right now. Jeez Louise. All right. Let me see what this is. Hold on. Hello? Hello? All right, they're not going to say anything. All right, that's good, because I'm busy working here. Sorry, guys. Usually the scam calls don't call after 8 o'clock. I'm losing my keyboard. Let me just give that a place to sit. All right, back to work. Usually I don't get scam calls after 8 o'clock, so that's why I live stream after 8, because I assume I'm not going to get any calls. But, sometimes they call. Sometimes they can't get enough of me. So, that's all right. All right. So, a lot of what I'm doing right now is just filling in inks of the pencils I've already drawn. And sometimes that's a simple thing, but man, my eyes are sucking tonight. I'm just going to do the best I can. I wanted to show you guys something in just a minute. I actually had printed up a proof copy of Hero Book One, the new edition that I'm working on right now, and this story is going to be a backup story in this new printing of the book, so that it's important that I finish it. And so this story is going to go into the new printing of Hero Book 1. And when it's done, when the story is done, I should be close to, if not already finished, because I'm very close to getting done with the updated files, and it actually, I think it looks really good. Oh, wait a minute, you know what I forgot? Now's a good time to draw it in. He's got a belt that goes around. All right. I almost completely missed that. That's a good thing about drawing this stuff, is that after you've drawn it for a while, you get used to what's supposed to be there, so that if you forget it in the layout portion or in the pencil portion, you can fill it in when you're doing the inks. And yeah, I just noticed I forgot something, but it's okay. That's one of the advantages of drawing these characters over and over again, is you remember things that you forgot when you laid it out. And that's okay. Now, if I remember correctly, he has the glove and then the stripe is the part that goes in the middle. All right. Alright guys, sorry, I'm just talking to myself here. Sometimes that happens while I'm drawing. Alright. I still got to leave room for the bow right here, which I will draw momentarily. And okay, I will get the bow in here in just a second. Let me just mark off a few pieces so I remember to fill this in properly. Alright. Alright, that's good. Now I got to remember when I'm drawing him that I'm going to draw the bow coming down here and the bow coming up here, and that force is in front of everything else. So I got to make sure I do it properly. I need to find, oh, let me just grab page 1, which actually has the bow on it. So let me let me pencil this in real quick. Where did I move my pencils to? Pencils are here. All right. Because I actually, you may or not be able to see it, but there's literally just like an outline here of where the bow should go, and I need to actually draw it a little bit more. Yeah, what's so funny about the design for his bow, it's more or less like a giant weed. Less of a branch than it is it's more of a weed than it is a branch. Which I'm not sure exactly why it was that way, because it's all like really shaky and all, but it's all right. It works. It works. I just got to try to remember to kind of make it look the same each time I draw it. There we go. All right. Okay. What I'm more or less doing right now is just creating an outline for it. I will add some details into it eventually to make it all work out. I put my drawing board flat while I did this because I thought if I used my if I use the pens, the quill pens, that I needed more of a flat area so as not to mess them up. And in doing so, I kind of... Alright. Enough talking. What am I looking for? Where is my eraser? Alright. Just going to erase this a little bit so I can actually see it. It's one of the problems with when you're inking on top of your pencils. Sometimes you can't tell where the pencil stopped and the ink stopped. Okay, so very good. Alright, so now the bow's drawn. That way I can fill in the rest of his body and I don't have to worry about drawing a line over where it should be drawn. Alright. He's got legs. He's got a torso that leads into a tail. And he's very much the original design for Hero, what am I saying? This isn't Hero, this is Hawkeye, was that he was a ferret. And I drew him with really big feet, claws coming out of his feet, and he's got really lanky legs and body. He would be, if I was going to describe a superhero that he moves like, it wouldn't be Hawkeye, it would be Spider-Man, because he's got his legs going in all different directions and so forth sometimes, but he's just this really skinny, wiry type of character, and I always imagining him jumping around, being in all these crazy different poses as he's firing his bow and arrow, and and he's very much like a Spider-Man type physicality. He's like a Spider-Man type character. And in this particular pose that he's doing here, he's jumping away from the wolves, and you can tell he's jumping away from them based on the fact that his tail is like extended out behind him. There we go. That is him jumping out, and I will eventually draw in the line for the bow. Oh, geez, I completely forgot. He's reaching in the back to pull out an arrow out of his quiver. Let me make sure I'm trying to get okay. He's reaching this way, and he's got his thumb here and two fingers here, and of course he's got a third finger, but it's down here. All right. And you can't tell from this angle here, but he's only got one arrow left. So he's reaching for the last arrow in his quiver. And the next panel, he's going to shoot it at the wolves and kind of like to get some distance from him and the wolves. And what I'm going to do next, all right. So I drew him with the 0.5 pen, which is just a regular old writing pen, but I use it for drawing. And then I'm going to outline him with the Uniball 7 pen for a thicker outside line. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me switch glasses real quick, because I am having a really hard time reading the chat And I think it's because I have the wrong glasses on. So it's so funny. I misplaced my reader glasses, which are the ones that I use for, working in front of the computer. And so I ordered a new copy, and the copy I ordered, I used the same exact prescription, except I changed it slightly so it would be a reader copy. But I ordered the same exact glasses, the frames, that I had done for my distance ones. So now, because the frames are exactly the same, I can't tell which one I'm wearing until I put them on and go, okay, I can see far away, or okay, I can see close up. I know it's sad. Let's see who else is here. I got Richard. I got Manuel. Charles is here. Hey, Charles, how's it going? He says, afternoon from New Zealand. How are you, you Drew? I am busy. Sorry I haven't been on your live. Well, that's no problem. That's no problem. Richard says hello to Charles, and so does Manuel. Charles says thanks, Manuel, to you too. Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, I'm taking a break real quick. I'm going to have a little bit more water. All right, cool. Now we're back. All right, so one of the things that I do, actually, I don't need the glasses on while I'm drawing, so I'm going to take my glasses off, and I'm going to just start outlining the character. This gives me an opportunity, it gives me two opportunities. One, to separate the character from the background, and also to clean up any little mistakes I might have made. And I already know I've made a few little ones, but that's okay. And the way I do this, it also gives me an opportunity to add some texture to the lines. When you're drawing anamorphic characters, every now and then having a little bit of fur showing is sometimes a good thing. Oh, this is killing me. I can't even see the lines. There we go. Yeah, that doesn't help. I swear I put the wrong glasses on. Yeah, I did. Sorry guys, I gotta make sure I'm wearing the right glasses. Yes, these are my new glasses because they're tighter, and they're the... Sorry. I'm still getting used to having two different glasses for doing two different things. So like when I'm driving, I've got to wear one pair of glasses, and when I'm reading or I'm working on the computer, I have to have another set of glasses. And that's just life of being an old guy now. It's having two sets of glasses. Used to be able to get away with one. Can't do that anymore. Alright. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of texture here on the tail. Hope you guys can actually see this. I know the camera is not that close. One advantage of watching from overhead is you can see as things progress, whereas I'm like trying to get really close so that I can, so I can make sure I follow the right lines. But from a distance, you can actually see it as it's happening, and it comes out. So, okay, that's done, that's done, that's done. This knee needs to be done. All right, there we go. All right. Back to his head. There we go. All right. What's kind of funny is I realized when I was looking at the old pages with Hawkeye on it, I realized the back of his hat that hangs out was a lot shorter than I draw it now, and hopefully nobody's gonna notice. I mean, most people will be able to notice, but I'm hoping I can get away with it, because I draw it a certain way now. Actually, I think it's cooler when it's a little longer, but in the original story, the original pages, which of course will be published with this one, it's a little bit shorter. But I think if I had a Marvel No Prize to explain it, um, I might say that when you first meet Hawkeye and his hat is shorter, it's because he's got it pulled up tight around his head. And now that he's running around, jumping around, flapping around, and so forth, it's kind of a little bit looser and flowing further behind him. Um, so, Richard, I know, knows what a no prize is. Marvel, whenever they would make a mistake, in comics in their continuity, and sometimes it was a simple little thing like a person would have something in their left hand, and then the next panel they'd have it in their right hand, and people would point it out as an inconsistency, and Marvel would give what they call a no prize to anybody who could explain what happened with the inconsistency. And sometimes it's just as simple as, well, he just switched hands in between panels, and you didn't see him do it. I mean, I know that's a simplification for what an explanation was, but if you could explain a Marvel inconsistency or discrepancy, they would send you a Marvel No Prize. And if I remember correctly, it was nothing. You didn't get anything. It wasn't actually you didn't actually win a prize. It was just you got awarded a no prize, and that was kind of a I never won one because I that was back in a time when Marvel was a lot more fan friendly, and they would do stuff like that for fans who identified stuff like that. So actually, I remember they actually published a book, and I have a copy of it somewhere. Um, it was the Marvel No Prize book, and I think it was just a single issue, and all it did was explain inconsistency from panel to panel of some of the Marvel comics, which is kind of fun and funny. That was back when Marvel didn't take itself so seriously, and comics were a lot more fun back in the day. So I guess you could say if somebody pointed out that Hawkeye, like maybe something as simple as like his belt buckle is going one direction in one panel and another direction another panel, that's because I'm a lazy artist. But somebody might be able to explain it for a no prize why it happens. So, all right, this is just me talking. So, give me just a second. I'm almost finished with drawing in Hawkeye here. What I like to do, for especially with areas where it's all black, like his gloves are, I don't know why I drew them all black, but they're just straight black. I like to fill in the outline, the inside outline, with the pen, and then go in later and fill it in with actual black. And his eyebrows are black. His eyeballs are black. His nose is not black. So leave that alone, Drew. And the inside of his hood is I usually depict it with shadow, like that. And usually do just like some really simple cross hatching in there on one side. Yep, just to give it the impression of a little bit of a depth. And then I'm going to pull out do I have a Sharpie over here that I can use just to fill in this area? Yes, I do. I've talked about this before. I use Sharpies to fill in small areas of black. I try not to fill in large areas of black with Sharpie because Sharpie, over time, is not a very good drawing tool. Avery would probably yell at me if he saw me filling stuff in with Sharpie. He would yell at me to fill it in with India ink or something of that nature. And I normally will, if I have time, to make the page look more presentable, look more nicer. Um, right now, I'm not worried about it being, pretty. But in the long run, you wanna use when you're doing art, you want to use the best materials possible, and you know sometimes you just want to get it done quickly. Now I'm just gonna fill in a little bit of, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Put a little bit of shadow here, a little bit of shadow here. Also to correct an error that I made down here, which if you guys didn't notice, then I'm not going to point it out. All right. So what do y'all think? How's he coming along? All right, now I'm going to clean up some of the pencils that's underneath the inks. One of the things that I'm really scared about using the India ink is if you attempt to erase pencils underneath the India ink too soon, you can destroy the image by smearing the ink, and I don't want to get to that point. I don't want that to happen. So I have to be very patient when I do use the India ink in filling in, some of the backgrounds, because I don't want to erase something and then smear it all over the place. So I'm going to have to be very careful when I get to that stage. But I found in book 1, I used regular drawing pens for all the backgrounds, and then I filled in a lot of the shadow and so forth with a watercolor wash, which ended up working out pretty well. I liked how it came out. But in book 2, I used the quill pen for a lot of the backgrounds, and the art just changed and looked better. So there we go. He's done. So then next stage is I'm going to work on these 2 wolves that are back here, and then I'm going to work on the background. But once again, I want to do the background with a pen, with a quill pen. The one that I bought, I got to practice with before I start using it. Granted, it's a lot looser, and sometimes in the background that's okay, but I don't want to screw these pages up. I'm trying to make sure they look nice and pretty as I'm working on them. So I'm really trying my best to make usable, complete, and clean artwork. So one of the things I need to do is I need to work on this wolf here as well, because I didn't draw the hatching shadows down his snout, which I meant to do and did not get around to. So I'm going to fill in some of that tonight, since I'm getting ahead of myself, and getting ahead is a good thing. All right. Mostly what I'm doing is just filling in some cross-hatching lines to add shadow. And, excuse me guys, sorry about that. And just adding a little bit of shadow to the character. And because these guys are, I wouldn't say they're evil as much as they are what they are. They're kind of bad guys, but they're also, they're wolves. What do you expect wolves to be? Do you expect wolves to be the good guys? If they're going to be on anybody's team, they're going to be on the team that's, world domination, So we'll see. There's a good chance there might be some wolves that are on Hero's team in the end. But at this very second in time, in this particular part of the story, the wolves are kind of working for the bad guy. And that's okay. There might be some change of alliance somewhere in the future. We might run into a character who's actually a good wolf. I do have some character designs where the wolves are more humanoid-ish, like some of the other characters. But this pack of wolves that's in this story, they're very much wolf-ish, wolf-like. They're very large, scary-looking wolves. So We too, and we can have wolves that look more anamorphic. Um, and we may see that. We may see that in the future in one of the stories. I do have some dog type characters that appear in book that we plan to appear in book 4, who are pirates. But there could be wolves among them, you know? These wolves are just big and bad and scary. Alright. What I'm doing, mostly what I'm doing right now is just adding some hatch lines, just to darken up some of the areas. In the original book, what I probably would have done is filled this area in with gray tone, like a gray wash. But for this particular story, I think I'm keeping it to just black and white. There may be some gray tones added for the background, but for the characters, I'm going to try to keep everything black and white. Therefore, if I want to indicate, like for example on the wolves, dark fur, I'm going to do that with hatch lines. So that is what I am doing here, in case anybody wants to know what the hell is he doing, you know? And then, of course, they have big claws. Big scary claws, which I did not draw in before. Alright. I will probably, once I start on the background for behind this character, the trees and the rocks and so forth, I'll color in the paw, but I don't need to do it right this second. But alright, so we have Hawkeye jumping out, starting to flee, and he's reaching into the back of his quiver to grab his last arrow, which he's going in page 3. He fires his last arrow at the wolves to kind of distract them and cause them to pause momentarily while he tries to get away. And then, lo and behold, he's going to run into a little problem, as in the end of the end of the line, so to say, of the forest. And that's where we're leading to. So having the wolf like heavy in shadow, heavy in blacks and cross hatching actually works well for what I'm doing here, because the wolves they're a part of this story, but they're not an important part of these pages. They're just like background characters at this moment, so there's not a lot of dialogue happening. So, you know, almost gotcha type of thing. That's pretty much all they say in this page. Draw a little bit more details in here. Emphasize some shadows, makes the teeth stand out a little bit more. Yep. That's good. Add a little bit more texture to this outside line. Makes it a little bit more scarier. Yeah, looking good. At least I think so. Uh-oh. What happened here? My screen went really dark. Oh, I think it's because I have 2 keyboards on top of each other, and one of them was pushing the dark button down, so I couldn't see anything. All right, let's see what else is going on. Charles says, looks fantastic, Drew. Well, thank you very much. All right, I think I'm going to pause at this moment. We're almost at an hour, but I did want to share with you guys a few comics that I picked up, because this is, of course, the comics channel. I want to share with you a couple of comics I picked up. Now, I will admit, I have not read these, but I'm looking forward to reading them. This week's pickup includes Geiger number 13, which if you're not out there, if you're not picking up this series, this is one of the ones from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank as the artist. It's from Image Comics, their Ghost Machine line. They're already up to issue number 13, which is what this one is. And I'm a huge fan of Gary Frank's art, so I'm looking forward to reading this. The next one I picked up, and I kind of picked this one up just because I had heard somebody say it was pretty good. This is Ram V and Andano RK and Mike Spencer doing Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma. I think this is a limited series. I'm not sure how many issues it is. But I flipped through the art, and it looked pretty dang good. And I'm familiar with the character Resurrection Man, so I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing what it's about. And then the last book I picked up, believe it or not, it's a Marvel book. It's the new Amazing Spider-Man #1. Yes, they have relaunched Spider-Man again for like the 15th time. Actually, I think this is like the 10th time. But I picked up the blank variant so that maybe I could do a sketch on it and maybe put it in the store, you know, see if somebody's interested in buying it. The inside cover is a wraparound cover featuring Spider-Man and a whole bunch of villains on the back. Actually, oh crap, in this version, they put an ad on the back, so they didn't even continue the wraparound cover. Oh, that stinks big freaking boo-hoo. Oh, wow, I didn't realize. I thought the wraparound cover went all the way around. Holy crap, they gypped you out of a wraparound cover with the blank version. Damn. All right, well, I am probably going to, draw out some ideas for a cover. Most likely it'll have Spider-Man on it. Shocker, shocker. But most likely I'll do Spider-Man and maybe a villain or two. I'll flip through the issue, see who they highlight as the villain of the week. I know Rhino was in here and a couple other people, but maybe do my own interpretation of what the Rhino looks like. Maybe a Venomized Rhino. That might be kind of cool. So we'll see. But interior art by Pepe Larraza. I know his name is Larraz, but I always put an A on the end for some reason. Pepe Larraza. Maybe I'll get inspired and do something interesting. And maybe I'll even save this for next week. Maybe do that next week. That'll be what I work on next week. Or maybe I'll make a separate video and do a live stream on a random day. You never know. You never know what I'm going to do around here. I'm crazy. I'm insane. I'm going. Not really. But we're going to keep working on hero pages, and we're going to keep working. Oh, that's right. I meant to show you guys. Where did I put it? I ordered a proof copy of Hero Book 1 as it stands right now. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done to finish it. Not that much work, believe it or not. I'm getting very much closer and closer to having it done. But I had it printed at the... What is this? Some advertisement. I had it printed at the 8.5 by 11 size, which is the larger format size. This is what the book was always supposed to be. It was always supposed to be the large magazine size or European graphic novel size. What I printed here was the 150-page story plus the 4-page epilogue and the 8-page backup, and there's going to be another 8-page backup, which is what I'm working on now. And then there's also pin-ups and sketches and so forth. So it's going to be probably closer to 200 pages when it's done. Maybe 180, I think it is. But this version is where I took Avery's colors and I turned them into grayscale. And originally this page was black and white with a little bit of watercolor wash. Now it's got full grayscale added to it, and it looks great. There's some of the pages in here that just look gorgeous due to Avery's coloring of them, and of course converting them into grayscale. I want to see if I can show you another page that looks nice. Let's see. Come on. Oh, this is a double page splash that looks great with all the gray tone colors on it. There's a couple of those in here. Here's a spoiler. This is actually the last page of the book, the last page of the special. The extra page, it just looks good with his extra grays. Oh, and there's the back cover. Avery did do a color version of this particular cover. It's a wraparound cover. I will most likely be publishing this with the full color wraparound cover. So it'll be the first time it's seen print, and that's going to be extremely cool. And oh yeah, yeah. Oh, as you can see, all these little tags are things that need to be fixed. Sometimes it's something really simple. It's like remove the stroke from this image, or add something to something, or remove something small. So a lot of it is just little cleanup stuff. My wife did a quick read through and found 3 spelling mistakes, which were all me doing wrong. So I've already fixed those, and those are good to go. And yeah, it's coming along. But trust me, you guys will be one of the first to know when the book is ready for print. And I am going to, I'm most likely, I'm debating getting like several hundred copies in trade format and then maybe a limited number in hardcover. And the hardcover edition, I'm considering adding an extra page in the front. That way I can like do a sketch on it. So all the hardcover editions will include a sketch in the book, where the trade paperback may include a sketch separate from the book. So it'll make it special. And there will be probably a limited run of the hardcovers, like maybe 50, maybe more, depending. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's the problem nowadays is having the budget to make sure everything gets printed properly, and yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. So I appreciate everybody coming in, checking in this evening. Richard and Charles and Manuel, I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. I do want to start doing more on this channel, on the comics channel. I'm not sure if it's more videos or more live streams, but definitely needs quote unquote more. But I appreciate you guys checking in, and we will catch you all next week. And I am going to be doing some art not on stream because I need to keep moving forward. Lately, all I've been doing is working on these pages. I've kind of done my goal is to make a start to finish video where you see every from the layout sketches all the way to the finished page, particular for this story. So I'm kind of doing everything on camera. And doing live streams just makes it easier to do that. It forces me to do it and to have a record of it. But I may end up doing some stuff not on live stream, but still on camera. But as I do stuff, I will let you guys know and share it with you. But I appreciate you guys coming in, and have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll catch you all Friday on Todd's channel for the Nerd Den. Come by and check us out. We just sit around and talk about comic stuff and have a good time. And then, of course, Saturday night is the Misfit Corner Scams live stream, which I always have a good time talking to everybody. And I hope everybody has a good weekend, or a good week and a good weekend, and I will see you all soon. Peace out, guys.